we got 10 minutes before we want to talk a little Cavs, but let's look at the other playoff matchups around the NFL. Baker and the Buccaneers made it, much to Bulls' dismay. The Steelers somehow crept their way in despite a three-headed quarterback monster of trash, and more trash. What are you guys' overall thoughts on how the matchups have played out and what we're going to see next weekend in the playoffs?
Let me start with a couple of mea culpas. Listen, I'm busting Baker's balls. I like busting Jay's balls about it. The reality is Baker had a pretty solid season. I don't think the Buccaneers are very good, but I don't think the Eagles are very good either. So I think the Eagles are going to win, but I don't feel confident. And
Bet the house on
the
Philly.
Bucs, yeah, you think so?
Bet the house on Philly. They're going to fix this.
Come to play in this one?
Just for 1 week, they're going to fix this.
Listen, Baker did a decent job this year. I for the record, sometimes I get fired. I'm like, he sucks. Listen, I always thought he was okay, serviceable, not good enough, and I still don't trust him in a big spot, and he didn't play particularly well in these last 2 games. But he had a good, solid season overall. I still think Matt Stafford should be the comeback player of the year, but I would still vote Baker second.
Are they signing him long term?
I'm told that there's mutual interest.
If I were
he
them,
wants
I
to stay there, and now it could change.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple friends that cover the Buccaneers,
I would bring him back for another year.
So does he get the 30 that he should have took?
No, that ship sailed.
The ship on the 30 is gone?
Well, because he's too far removed from that number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
we've seen what he can be. That the most frustrating thing to me about Baker is, and this season, don't laugh when I say this, and I know you will. He's a poor man's Josh Allen this year. And here's what I mean by that. He can look frustratingly good. He had a 4-touchdown, no-pick, 350-yard game this year. Yeah. He can also look frustratingly bad. And the reason I say he's a poor man's Josh Allen, even though this year he finished with more touchdowns and fewer picks than Allen.
Or passing touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns. Yeah. He can also do Josh Allen things.
Yeah.
And the problem with Baker, why you can't say he's in Josh Allen's category, is because his ceiling isn't as high as Josh's is. So he's just this frustrating guy who I don't think is ever going to get to a Super Bowl. Can he take a team to a playoffs in a weak division? I think he can.
He just did.
And he did it here in a pretty damn good division. So, but the problem with Baker is he's got to elevate his floor before he ever starts thinking about that kind of bag again.
That's crazy.
By the way,
because $50 million is the going rate for like elite.
Yeah. But he ain't
$20 million. No, $50 million is for like the top 3 guys.
By the way, for the record, Josh Allen ended up with more passing touchdowns than Baker.
Probably because
he yesterday.
He had a nice game yesterday, but he also threw a couple more picks. Baker didn't have any picks Sunday.
I had when he was here, former NFL quarterback saying Baker thinks he's in that Josh Allen,
That's
Patrick
the problem.
Mahomes class.
Yeah, that is the problem.
And he's not.
That's why he didn't sign the deal the first time.
And I just wonder if he had to be humbled and humiliated the last couple of years with how things went. And I wonder if anyone got through to him to make him realize to not try and be those guys anymore. If he would just play within himself, he could be a fine NFL quarterback, have a long career, make a lot of money in this league. He'll never be elite.
Yep.
But he could have a very nice career for himself.
I agree.
So it's really up to him. It's up to him.
If I were him, if I'm still confident in myself, he's got to put back-to-back good years together. He's never done that. And
just take a 1-year deal?
I'd take a 1-year deal because if he plays this year or next year.
In Tampa?
Yeah, I'd take a 1-year deal in Tampa.
I think the risk in doing that, Bull, if he leaves and goes anywhere else and does it's a short-term deal.
Yeah.
He had the year in Tampa that he had because he's got some damn good receivers.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Football team.
Yeah, I'd stay in Tampa.
They got some pieces.
They've got them.
He's not going anywhere. He'll be back in Tampa.
Yeah, I think they're going to, the folks that I talk to that cover the team on a daily basis and some from a national that are in and out all say, and this is interesting, and I wonder if you've heard the same thing, on the maturity thing, not the daily reporters that cover him on a day-to-day basis because they didn't know what he was before. So I wouldn't bother asking them. But there's a handful of national people that I know knew Baker well before, and I know they know him well now. And I asked, is there a difference? And all of them agree there is very much a difference in the off-field Baker.
Well, there needed to be.
We'll see.
There needed to be.
Yeah, there had to be.
In terms of the
for his sake, I hope that's true.
Yeah, in terms of the other playoff stuff, I mean, what a gag job by Jacksonville down the stretch. To not make the playoffs.
Philadelphia to bottom out where they did.
Shout out to my man Quincy. I'm going to take your take on this one. I saw your little blog the other day. Quincy said this, and is it time to reevaluate this Trevor Lawrence? I mean, because we put Trevor Lawrence, we put a lot of medals around his neck. We talked about him. We talk about him like he's in that next.
I don't think we talk about him in that class. I think he has been overrated. I think that's fair, and he's got one more year to do it.
He reminds me of Baker. He reminds me of Baker. He can be really, really good and carry a team. And we saw it in games this year. He can also be really, really bad.
We see him throwing some picks.
We may have prematurely anointed him last year with what he did late in the season.
I got to see more. I think
I want to see more of it too.
I do think he's better than Baker, but not much right now.
There's all these teams that arrive early, and it's so hard for them to duplicate it. I touched on it this morning, what I wrote. Like, the Browns were that team in 2020. They got there early. No one expected them to be there, and then they couldn't follow it up. Baker got hurt in 21, whatever. They couldn't follow it up. Last year, it was Jacksonville. Jacksonville last year was the Browns of 2020.
You're right.
And they couldn't follow it up this year. This year, it's Houston. So we'll see what Houston does.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if C.J. Stroud took a step back next
Not
year.
at all.
Now,
it wouldn't shock me.
Again, we don't know because we haven't seen the floor for C.J. Stroud. But I think, just if you're comparing the three quarterbacks, I think C.J. Stroud, I feel very comfortable in saying he's here.
Sure, because we haven't seen any downside, but we'll see. Can he follow it up with another good year
What's
next
stunning
year?
to me is he's the first in all the Ohio State quarterbacks to ever be this guy in the NFL.
But even I don't think I'm prone to being emotional. I said, I just somebody put out a list of how many guys you would take over C.J. Stroud, and I think I probably went too far. But some people said they take him over any quarterback outside of Mahomes. I actually said I'd take him fifth if I was starting a team.
And what other rookie quarterback? Maybe you have to go back to Dan Marino before.
I had
Andrew Luck.
I had
Right,
Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and
Luck.
Lamar.
What were you going to say,
Andrew
Mike?
What were you going to say about Trevor Lawrence?
I was just saying, Lawrence threw. He had a dime to Calvin Ridley, who if he caught that,
Yes, he
whole
did.
game changes. So the whole thing's not on him, but I do think
But he
was anointed a king too early.
Yeah,
and to Jason's point,
no doubt.
it's not time yet. And I was saying Andrew Luck might be the last rookie quarterback who
Andrew Luck,
who could have been in that conversation after his sole rookie
They
season.
had a 3rd and goal from the 1. And I was actually thinking about you. I'm like, man, if this is the Browns, Garrett would be screaming to fire everybody. 3rd and goal from the 1. They roll Lawrence out, throws a duck through the back of the end zone. 4th and goal from the 1. A full yard to go. He tried to reach it over the pile and was short. It was just too far to reach. It was short.
You want Garrett really going bananas? The Colts pulling Jonathan Taylor off the field.
Bro.
And by the way,
and then threw it to the dude.
Yeah, I know.
And by the way, I know the ball hit him in the hands, but that was a bad throw by Mindy.
It was catchable. It was a bad throw, but it was catchable.
It was catchable, but
And it's technically the definition of a dropped pass.
That boy.
that was tough. He had to go back against his body.
It was, but he's got to catch it.
That's a
He's
bad
gotta
throw.
catch
You got to
it.
make a better throw.
Why?
You're right. The throw had to be better, but if I'm assigning blame, I'm giving 40% to the quarterback and 60% to the running
See,
back.
I would 60%. I'd flip it.
60%.
It hit him in both hands.
Well,
why would you?
I don't know why
100% coach.
I don't know why you take Jonathan Taylor out of that.
I'm like,
You know what it reminded me of?
was like,
USC needs 1 yard to beat Texas in the national championship because they could have run out the clock.
Lindell
And instead
White.
of giving it to your Heisman Trophy winner, Reggie Bush, or at least putting Reggie Bush in the field and splitting him out for a decoy, he's standing next to Pete Carroll.
looking around.
And Lindell White gets stoned, and Texas comes back and wins the national
Why,
championship.
oh, why?
Don't outthink it. That was an easy one.
He's your man. Come on, you had that game done. Think about how we think about it now. Now that's why I say the Texans, they played well, but the Colts, you could say they fumbled the bag on that one.
Well, remember the Texans missed the extra point.
Yep, I thought
So
They did. Boy, that kicker, they kept showing the kicker on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He looked like I'd keep
Because
him
if the
away from
Colts-
sharp objects.
Right, if the Colts had scored that touchdown, they probably would. Now, there's still time. Stroud could have driven them back, but they had a good chance of winning.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
If you score that touchdown, how much time was left? There was
like a minute.
They had
change.
really used a lot of the clock.
105. They was really trying to get him out of there with a 4-minute drive. It was a
The
perfect
drive
4-minute
was
drive.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Perfect
By the way,
4-minute drive.
I know they missed the playoffs, but they're a well-coached team. I like the way that team. I still don't like that decision.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of decisions during the course of that game. I really like the
I'll
way
be
they're
curious
coached.
to see them next year with Richardson back and healthy. See what they look like. It'll be.
Do you think he can play as well as Minshew played?
I don't know that we saw. He had some moments this year where he looked really good.
Yeah.
The Fighting Steelers We have
That's
not
another.
talked
That's another. Listen, I'm done picking the Steelers under
Fighting
500.
Steelers.
the Fighting
But
Steelers.
you know what? I feel like
They're made of steel.
I feel like we always give the Steelers coach credit, but I got to say this: the Steelers, their quarterback situation is bad, no doubt. They're a more talented team than I've been giving them credit for the last couple of years. This idea that they have no talent is stupid. They're a talented team. Now, I think they're the least talented team in the division, and Mike Tomlin brings them up. But they're not. They're a talented team. They have some pretty good talent on both sides of the ball. And I'll give Najee Harris credit. When he was about to lose his job to Jalen Warren, he's played great.
The best thing
football.
Pittsburgh ever did was put Warren in his sphere.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't agree with you more. That guy ran like his job depended on it,
That's
on
right.
every carry.
They got two backs.
Does anyone give them a chance in the playoffs?
No.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. They've got a little bit of what Joe Flacco has going. I think it was you that said last week Mason Rudolph was done. He had already.
That was
Right.
a Didi. They said
Didi
said Mason
he's
Rudolph was-
already like
But he's not playing
interviewing with
nearly as
companies.
well as Flacco.
No, but what
He was
the
going to
reason
the
I bring it
workforce.
up is he's playing
No
free.
pressure. Yeah.
And it's so incredible to me how when guys get that last chance, it's what they know is their last chance. Mason even said in the post-game interview, he's like, I didn't expect to be here. I thought I was done.
I was going to sell insurance.
There's something about facing that last breath and knowing that it just didn't happen. His record and his stats for his few starts that he's made are not ugly. I'm surprised
Stunning.
it took Pittsburgh this long to say he can do it.
Yeah,
They
Tomlin deserves credit. They deserve credit.
Pickens-
but I think they'll go another year without.
I saw
playoff win.
Pickens block 2 times.
Pickens.
Twice I saw him block.
He has deep threat capability.
Johnson's
Deontay
a good
Johnson's a
player.
good ball player.
Freiermuth's solid tight
Yeah,
end.
you got Washington is a walking tackle. The thing that's going to hurt them. I don't know how long JJ or TJ Watt's going to be out.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I don't
they
think
got
they have
no
a chance to
without
win.
him.
Yeah, that's why I think
Yeah.
they don't have a chance in their first round game.
Yeah.
And it looks like that was a grade 2?
Yeah, that's it too.
Grade
Yeah.
2.
He's
Yeah,
got to
that's
miss at least one game.
JJ,
you would
oh
think.
yeah, multiple weeks. He'll be out multiple
Yeah,
weeks.
you would think.
Schefter said yesterday morning that Tomlin could walk after the season, take a year
Really?
off. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Schefter said
That's a
that
nice move.
he's got 1 year left on his contract, and he's not going to be fired. But it's basically balls in his court. He could walk. He could take a year
So
off.
what, is that like
recharge.
a protest stance for not getting an extension?
No, I think it's if he just tells them everything runs its course at some point. If
Isn't
he
it
just-
a good negotiating ploy, though, for him to tell Schefter that or his agent to
Oh,
tell
sure.
Schefter that
Yeah.
and put that out? Because if I'm the Steelers and I'm Rooney and I'm hearing that he's prepared to do that, I don't know that, I think at that point you write up an extension because I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him. I don't care what anybody says. I'm keeping him.
I will walk.
17 for 17 is worth something.
You got to walk, Jay, because look, right?
That's his smart play.
I know.
But if I'm
Yeah,
the Steelers, I don't let it get to that point. If I hear that, I call him and say, look, let's sit down and talk about an extension.
Even if they give the extension, you got to look at it like this. He did the best he could do with what he got. Their quarterback issue is not going to get better. You swung and missed on old boy. he Pickett. Now you got Rudolph and you got. This is not going to work. This is not sustainable. And guess what? Next year you come back, all that goodwill you built up because you get teams to keep playing hard. At some point, you're gonna have to need a quarterback to really compete. And I don't think you want to go.
Russell Wilson's going to be on a new team next
Russell
year.
Wilson will, and also Chicago has a very, very, probably the most important decision this offseason.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Is in
fascinating.
Chicago's court. They've got the first overall pick, and I think they've got the 6th or 7th. Somewhere.
1 and 9.
No, I think it dropped a little
1 and
lower
9.
than that.
Oh, 1 and 9. Okay, so they've got to decide is
I
Justin
keep it.
Fields their guy going forward or not. I have heard that Pittsburgh is very interested if
Fields.
Chicago punts on Justin.
Yeah, they'll have a different. One way or another, I think Pittsburgh's going to have a different quarterback next year. Whether
Well,
it's-
here's the amazing stat on Pickett. I think you sent it in the chat last week.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco has as many touchdown passes for
That's
the Browns as Pickett has for the Steelers.
Yeah.
All time.
That's right.
That's
I
a
got,
head spin.
I got a good stat that will all like Mike. I just DM'd you or DM'd the show a tweet. Could you put that? Can we put that up?
Yeah, Anthony's not here, so give me a second.
Oh,
Give me a
okay.
sec.
My
Yeah,
bad.
I got you. Give me 1 sec.
It was a good stat. You know who the last first round rookie quarterback to win his first playoff game was?
Dan
Just
Marino?
Stunning to me. No, not that long ago,
Okay.
but
last first
Roethlisberger.
round, Tebow.
No,
Tebow.
Oh, that's got to be more recent than
Mark
Roethlisberger.
Sanchez.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The last 4 first-round rookie quarterbacks to start a wild card game, Mac Jones, Lamar, Luck, RG3, have gone 0-4 straight up and against the spread, losing by an average of 15 points per game. RG3, of course, got hurt in that game. But a first-round rookie quarterback hasn't won or covered since Mark Sanchez in 2009. I wouldn't have guessed it was that long.
Yeah.
Well, that speaks to the troubles that rookie quarterbacks have had in the postseason.
Yeah.
I thought Tebow won his first, no?
Was Tebow
Tebow
a
was
first-round draft
309,
pick, though?
Oh, yeah.
Was he?
Tebow was first
He
round
wasn't. It wasn't his rookie season, though.
Oh, yeah.
In their rookie season. I don't think it was his rookie season.
Okay.
Right?